I hate wearing suits and tie. I hate to have a set schedule. This is what you have to do. Do you really enjoy what you're doing? I think that's really important. I don't need an alarm clock to wake up. You wake up, you feel like you have a mission.
We have a char boiler inside of the truck. It's powered by propane, and we come here to get propane about once every 2 days.
Over the past few years, I got to know a few really good friends here in Boston. And we started talking about different ideas how we can start our own business. And one of our friends, this barbecue truck idea was actually his, and his name is Peng.
When Liu Xiao and I lived together, especially during the summertime, we barbecued a lot. And for us to get this kind of barbecue, we would have to drive to New York to get it. One Saturday, we were out in the backyard barbecuing. As I recall, I think I asked Xiao, I said, hey, this is the barbecue I make, it's pretty good. It's a little bit different from New York's. Maybe we should start a business over here.
So as we taste, and it reminds me of my childhood. It just makes me feel like it's something that a lot of people with very similar background coming from China, they would have a similar feeling after eating the food. Their childhood, where we want to remind people of the place.
Number 10.
At the time, I'm like, okay, I'll just get started and see where it takes.
It doesn't taste like any kind of Chinese barbecue that I've had before, but it's very good. Give me a second.
We have two active partners. So myself working full-time, and Peng, he's working part-time for the business right now. And the other two partners, they are passive partners, so they don't really get involved in the daily operations of the business. In order to be compensated, we all felt like we should get a higher percentage allocation. At the time, the two passive partners felt like they had equal share of the company because we all put in the same amount of money. And that discussion just went on for a long time, going back and forth. And at one point, I was really tired of it. But fortunately, we were able to solve it. But that was like the first big disagreement that we have.
So people always say if two guys break up, it's probably because two reasons. One is money, the other one is a woman. So when we first started business, the conflict is focused on how much ownership each of us should have. Is that solely based on the capital contribution, or should we count in as risks each of us are taking? For example, some of one will work full-time on the food truck, and should we also count in other effects as how much time and efforts everyone is putting into this business? But at the end, we all agree that first of all, we are friends, we are best friends. Then we talk about business.
And we all know sort of the danger of doing business with your friends. We agreed on that day, we're not going to let this get in the way of our friendship. At the same time, we can't be easy on each other because we're friends. I had a huge fight with Yi. As we grew, we started hiring more and more people into the company. He has very high standards, especially for the employees. So if he sees something that he doesn't like, he would just tell the people, and he's very direct. It was not very effective. The same mistakes, or they just keep happening. I told him how I felt, you know. I'm like, if you want people to start listening to you, you have to be more, you know, diplomatic. And also you have to show them that you really know they are exhausted, you know they've been working for a long time. Yeah, we just had a pretty bad fight. A couple of days later, I apologized for, you know, my temper. I said, you know, I shouldn't have said that to you. He bought everybody mooncakes. The next weekend, he had to go to work. He had overtime pay, so he didn't take anything. He just gave all his money to the people working on the truck that day.
It's one thing we never imagined. It's how often the truck broke down. In the beginning, we would have to fix the truck almost every other week. Remember, the truck is 1988. It's really old.
One day, the generator broke, so the ventilation stops working. It's hot and it's smoky. We bought lights, we bought towels. We wet the towels as if it's like there's like a fire, and then we wrap the towels around our face. We bought goggles so that we wouldn't, you know, our eyes wouldn't be irritated by the smoke.
Because it's getting colder outside, so we're expecting less business. Especially last week, it wasn't as good as I would say the previous month. Today is actually pretty good, considering how cold it is outside. Today we're expecting probably just as good as you know, September.
The best truck in downtown. The best truck in downtown. Best truck. How you doing, my friends? Let me get 2 beef. Yeah. You guys are Chinese? Chinese? Or Vietnamese? Chinese? How you say good food? How chuda? How chuda?
You can never speak Chinese. That's the hardest language in the world.
How chuda? Calchuda. 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 Calchuda.
Cow is like coward, right?
Yeah.
You say cow. Cow.
It's like a half spit. Calchuda. Say it with oomph.
We're already making a profit, but we are reinvesting everything back into the business. My short-term goal is to have a restaurant open. Well, our second truck is on the way. I mean, just the second truck alone is another $80,000 to $100,000 investment. We need to get more money from, you know, current owners and also investors in order to grow the business. So we haven't gotten a paycheck yet, you know, but the business model is profitable.
先不要推，
就在店里卖啊？
对，就在店里卖。然后那个我不是说，即使有，店里面有的话，可以在车上。
对啊，
很麻烦，就是以后。然后那个就是，我觉得菜花和香蕉可以一起推出。建议。
但是可能必须菜和水果跟那个肉的那个要
色拉油，色拉油。
对啊，
菜、水果、色拉油，那个是用这个油。对，要买花生油，花生油烤出来的东西很香。像那个豆皮，我今天去挖没买到，都要去美国去看。豆皮卷香菜，豆皮卷金针菇，
对啊，
炒成卷他妈好多，唰一下拿出来，
里边卷还有卷那个啊，还有卷 bacon 的，里边人叫培根烤串，那个都是用 bacon 卷也可以，
用 bacon scallop 都可以。
Going to study in the United States is a dream for a lot of Chinese students. And for those students who have the brains as well as money in the family, going to the U.S. for an MBA degree will also certainly land them a comfy job as a mid-level manager. 2 Chinese MBA graduates in Boston is running a mobile lamb kebab business from the back of a van. So now let's take a look at some Weibo comments.
It can be a good way to make money after graduation. You don't need an MBA degree to sell barbecue. People with no education can do it as well. Some people said he might make it into the big catering enterprise, but there are many people like him in America, and he has no advantage over other entrepreneurs. Why waste time studying for an MBA degree?
It's not a waste. It's not a waste because now I have all the freedom. I feel like I'm probably working a lot harder than I had before, like during any time of my, working a full-time job. I first came to the States when I was almost 16 years old. I came here for high school, not really speaking a word of English. My dad is an entrepreneur. My mom has always been very supportive of him, working a full-time job, basically using her salary to support my dad's business in the early stage. They left for the United States when I was very young, when I was before I was in elementary school. After graduating, I worked at a consulting firm for a few years. Didn't really like sort of the repetitiveness of the job. I decided to go back to school, back to Babson for my MBA, with the intention of starting my own business coming out of it. I just always felt like there was something missing inside of me to become a very successful entrepreneur. I wanted to go back and find out what it was. Ultimately, I wanted to go back to China. That's my home, and I had a lot of really good memories growing up in China. I remember people making popcorns outside on the road. I remember a lot of things. I remember dragonflies in the summer, and they're all gone. And it's like now it's filled with pollution, it's filled with greed, money. People are there to make money. And it's not their home anymore. And I always wanted to change that, but I can't because, well, I'm just one person, right? But I always want to do something to bring the happiness back to people, you know what I mean? I don't think people are happy nowadays. I see my friends, I see other people, they are just angry. I feel like a lot of people are angry. I think it's too far-fetched right now. I thought about different ideas. When I have money, I want to open a school. I want to make movies that make people happy. Just comedy. And I want to do create a company in China that represents something, that represents quality, that represents honor, and then hopefully one day I'll be, strong enough to do something that will at least do my share. Yeah.